students. Let us start with our subject biology. As you know, we are starting the first chapter that is related with the reproduction. The name is given reproduction in lower and higher plants. Now we are concerned only with the plants, not animals. So whatever the terms are there, I am explaining, it is only related with the plants. So the plants, the first thing what I have mentioned, the name of the chapter, lower and higher plants. Lower means what? The plants are very small, even though you can say it is a microscopic. And how the reproduction takes place, we are going to study. In second part, that is the higher plants. Now higher plants means the plants which we can see with the naked eyes. We can see surrounding the plants which shows the flowers like that. And hence the methods of the reproduction in lower and higher plants is different one. Now let us discuss first about the reproduction. Now what is reproduction? Reproduction is a characteristic of the living organisms. That means living organisms can be identified by their characters. So one of that is most important is the multiplication. That means they multiply. That is the reproduction. And the reproductive methods are, if you see, they are categorized into two parts. That means whether they are with two parents or single parent. So that is the main subject here, that is the asexual and sexual reproduction. So let us discuss about the first one, that is the asexual. So asexual reproduction, as the name indicates, it is involve only one parent. That means two parents are not there. In other words, where there is no fusion of the gametes. That means in naturally, when the sexual reproduction takes place, there is a union of two cells. Two cells unite and they form the zygote. But this method is not possible here, and which is avoiding such a type of the union of two cells or the gametes, but only the cell which is present in the mother plant. We are calling the individual as a mother plant. Okay. So that single plant, mother plant, is enabled to do this type of the reproduction, which is called as the asexual reproduction. So various methods are there. Let us discuss the one by one. The first one, it is known as the fragmentation. So the fragmentation type of the method is that generally the plants are multicellular. For example, some algae members. And common example, that is the freshwater habitat, that is the Spirogyra. So this is a filament of Spirogyra, freshwater habitat algae, and this is a multicellular because many cells are intact, they form elongated filament. Now this filamentous structure, that is a Spirogyra, the cells, they break. So whatever the reason may be, but the cell break, and each cell is capable to produce or regenerate into the new plant. So this is the method where it is the fragmentation. So this member is algae member, it is a Spirogyra because the arrangement of this chloroplast is spirally. So the name is given Spirogyra. And this is a multicellular, cells are arranged one above the other and they form the filament. Okay. So these filaments, one cells, two cell, third cell, like that. So many cells are there, and due to any reason, this cell that break. And this separated type of the cell is capable to divide and form new type of the Spirogyra. So this is the first method which is more common in algae-like members. So one of that, it is the Spirogyra. Okay. Now the second method, just let us discuss about that. It is known as budding. Now this method is also in a lower, as we know that we are dealing with only the lower reproduction, the plants which are categorized under the lower. So second example is budding. As the name indicates, there is a formation of buds. Buds are produced on the cell. This is also unicellular organism, and mostly it is a fungal type. That is the fungi. First it was the algae. Second, this is the fungal type of the member. And here the example is yeast. It is a unicellular body, and such a type of the structure is there under the microscope, simple microscope. Okay. So this is the yeast. After some period, that means when it attains the maturity and during the favorable conditions, what happen? The cell or the unicellular organism, when the conditions are good for the growth, that means temperature, pH, atmosphere, water, all these things are considered which are as favorable. When the conditions are favorable, at that time what happen? This cell divide by the method known as the budding. Means what? Simply it produces bird-like structure one above the other. One bird or second or two, three, like that. Chain of the birds are produced on the main organism or the mother cell. And then this each cell get separate from the mother cell. And each cell now reproduces. It is capable to produce the new organism. So this is called as the budding. So this is the second method. Now let us discuss about the next one. Zoospore formation. Zoospore formation, where it again takes place in the algae group, and example is Chlamydomonas. So Chlamydomonas is again unicellular structure. It is a freshwater alga, and structure of this, it is just pyriform structure. Here these are the flagella, and it is a mobile. Mobile means not our mobile, but it is it can move. That the term is utilized. Because of this structure, it swims in water. Of course, many algae, they are water habitat, aquatic habitat, and this is biflagellated. So it is a flagella. Two flagella are there, and the structure is of chloroplast, and inside that nucleus is present. Okay. So this is a single structure or single cell individual. Organism is made up of only single cell, and this single cell, after the maturity, when the conditions are favorable, this cell, it produces some small structures which are resemble to that of the mother cell. They are only small of the individual mother cell, but the structure inside that, it is exactly similar to the mother cell. And now this each cell is converted into spore. It is called as the zoospore. And this zoospore, after the maturity, this cells comes out by breaking the wall around it, and all these spores liberate out, and they swim in water, again attain the maturity, and they become just like the mother cell. So this production is called as the zoospore formation, which is found in the lower organism. Okay. So these are the three things which are given in your book in a detail. But other than that, other methods are also there of the reproduction. For example, it is the conidia formation. Conidia formation, that found again in the fungal type of the members, where conidia are developed, especially Aspergillus or Penicillium. So Aspergillus Penicillium like members which are belong to the group fungus, they produces by formation of conidia on their special cells which are known as the bottle shaped structure known as a sterigmata. So on that sterigmata, these small structures are produced which are in ascending order. So this is a suppose sterigmata, and this structure or the chain of the cell is developed. So this chain is to the lower, or where it is attached to the sterigmata, it is small, and then as you go to upward direction, the cells enlarge in the size. That means the uppermost is matured. It is more matured cell, so it is big in size. Okay, so this cell, it again separates from the main part or the sterigmata of the penicillium or the aspergillus, and it gets separated. That means this conidia gets separated, and it again behaves as a individual, the mother cell or the mother plant. And this is the method where the development takes place in this cell, divide, redivide, and again it is formed into the fungal body. That is a hypa and mycelium it is called. Okay, but so this method is also in the lower plant by the formation of the conidia. Now in some cases, like some protozoa like members, there is a binary fission. In some cases, like the protozoa members, as you know that protozoa members, you must know the common examples which are the amoeba, paramecium. In this case, what happened? This binary fission takes place. Means what? Suppose this is amoeba. As you know that amoeba having various type of the shape, that is irregular. It is not a particular or the finite shape. This amoeba member, it divides. That means the nucleus first elongates, and then it elongates, and afterward it breaks. Two nuclei are developed from single nucleus, two nuclei, and these two individuals are developed. So this division is called as the binary fission. Fission means breakdown. Fission means what? Breakdown, and it is a two. So single organism is converted into two. So it is called as the binary fission. And this method is also common mostly in the protozoa members. That means the members which are very primitive type. Of course, amoeba and paramecium, we know they are the common example, and the dividation or the reproduction takes place in the method which is the binary fission. And then some more things are there which where the lower type of the plants, they reproduces in this way. Okay, so in the book only these methods are given. So we are going to stop here about the lower plants where how they reproduces. Okay, now let us discuss about the higher plants. Reproduction takes place in the higher plants. In higher plants, the asexual reproduction is also common, and it is divided into two. That is, it is called as the vegetative type of the reproduction. Of course, vegetative reproduction is the type of asexual reproduction. That means only one parent is involved, two parents are never involved in the reproduction. That means the gamete union not takes place. Only single parent that produces by this method, and it is known as the vegetative reproduction. Now we are going to from lower to higher plants. Higher plants surrounding to us, that means which we can see with the naked eyes, these plants reproduces. How they reproduces? They are known as the vegetative reproduction. Vegetative means what? The part of the plant which is a vegetative. For example, root, stem, leaf, branches, all these are what? Vegetative parts. And these vegetative parts, when they take part in the reproduction, it is called as the vegetative reproduction. Okay. Now vegetative, again it is divided into two types. It is a natural vegetative reproduction and artificial type of the vegetative reproduction. Artificial means man-made. In the nursery, when we see that the techniques are utilized or common, they are the artificial type of the vegetative reproduction. But naturally, how the higher plants they reproduces, let us discuss one by one. So first one, natural, they have, as I told before, they have different parts. The first one is the root, second is the leaf, and third one is the stem. So all they are the vegetative parts, and by using this vegetative parts, plant reproduces. Now, the natural method of this type of reproduction, if you see root, that is the Ipomia, it is a botanical name, and commonly we call as a sweet potato. So the roots are utilized for the vegetative reproduction. It is a natural method. Okay. So naturally this Ipomia can reproduces. Then another one, that is asparagus. If you see asparagus, the common name is Shatavari in Marathi. It is mostly utilized in many products in the Ayurvedas, asparagus. And in some cases the asparagus leaves are also utilized for the preparation of the curry, like that. So Ipomia, sweet potato, asparagus, where the roots are utilized, or they are naturally, they produce the natural type of the vegetative reproduction. Okay. Now the leaf. So this I am not taking in detail, because according to syllabus, this is only given in your block, that is in a book on the page, block is given and only names are given. So I am not taking in detail, but you must remember, because we have already studied in a 10th standard or 9th standard or even the 11th standard. So no need to go in deep. So let's see or mention some types here. Now the leaf, the example is Briar Phylum. Briar Phylum, this is the commonest example of the leaf by which the part that undergo the vegetative type of the reproduction. In Marathi, it is a very appropriate name is there. It is known as a panputi. So panputi means what? From the leaf, that actually the margins. This is a leaf, and at this junction, the vegetative buds are produced, and these buds, as if you know this plant, this bud sprouts. It produces roots and leaves, and again by separating this vegetative bud is utilized as a vegetative reproductive part, and hence the Briar Phylum or Kalenchu, one more is also there. You can see that the vegetative part that take parts in the vegetative reproduction. Okay, and lastly the stem. Now stem has various types of the methods, and many farmers they are utilizing the stem material which have the birds on it. Vegetative birds are there which are utilized for the reproductive method. So first one is the rhizome, second is the tuber, where the stems are utilized as a reproductive method. Now the rhizome, best example, you know that the ginger. Ginger, you know. Then second is the curcuma longa, that is known as haldi. Turmeric, common name. This is also the part which is the part of the stem which is hidden. That means it is present below the ground, below the soil. And because having such a type of birds on it, so they are the auxiliary birds, and these birds are utilized as a vegetative reproductive parts. Okay. Tuber, next is the tuber one, and third one is the bulb. So rhizome, that is ginger or the turmeric. Second is the tuber. For the tuber, you must know the example which is a potato. Tuber is the potato. It is the modification of the stem which is present inside the soil or the below to the soil level. And again on the this stem, that is on the tuber of the potato, you must have such type of practice that after some days automatically these sprouts you must see in the tubers of the potato. So this is the tuber type of the where the vegetative bird sprouts and give rise to the new plant. So each and every bird has the capability to reproduce into the new plant. It totally regenerate. And the last one is the bulb, and the best example of is the onion as well as the garlic. So such a type of the modification is there of the stem. Actually the total stem, roots, they are present below the ground, and from this side, that is the onion, each part can be utilized as a vegetative reproductive method, and hence we have discussed all this. These are the natural type of the vegetative reproductive methods. So these are only the names are given. What I said before, that we have already discussed, we have studied, and so there is no need to see in details. Now the next one is the artificial. So important thing is that you must know the names or the examples. So remember the examples what I have given as the natural methods of the vegetative reproductive methods. Now the artificial, here it is first cutting, second is the grafting, and third one is the tissue culture. So these are the artificial methods, and these methods are given somewhat detail in your book or the syllabus. So let us see about all the types. Now the same technique is there, single parent is utilized, but only the optional thing is that in grafting, two parts of two plants is utilized. But the basic thing is that it is same one, because there is no union of two gametes or the cells, and hence it is also under the reproduction, which is called as the asexual reproductive method. So let us see one by one. So first one, it is the cutting. Now cutting is most common technique in the nurseries or even in the field of the farmers. They are utilizing the same thing, that is the cutting. So any part of the root, again stem as well as leaf, same, that is the natural type of the method. And many same examples are utilizing again for the cutting. Cutting means what? The any part of the part, it may be root, stem or the leaf. It is taken, and the small part of this root can propagate, regenerate into the new plant. Same thing, that is Ipomea like or the asparagus. The examples are same, and some examples are also there which are not mentioned in our book. Then second, the stem, the same thing. Mostly the technique utilized in the roses, different types of the varieties of roses, in nurseries, rose as well as the bougainvillea. Bougainville, the cutting is also there. In some fruits, it is also common, that is the stem, they are utilized. What is the criteria for choosing this type of the material? The stem must be matured, at least 1 year old, and it has some pencil-like thickness, it must have. And second thing is that it should consist of the buds, both root as well as the stem as well as the leaf. Buds must be there. If the buds are not there, this plant or this part cannot propagate. It cannot give rise to another types of the or the development or the sprouting. And these buds are essential. So at least more than one bud should be there. Means chances of the getting the success. If one bud is there and it is not sprout, then total the experiment that goes fails. So you must use more than one bud should be there. Okay. Then the leaf, the same thing is there. Vallisneria, like the leaf, it is also taking as a leaf in addition to Briar Phylum and the calanchu. So these three methods are just resemble to that of the natural type of the vegetative methods, and mostly the cutting methods are utilized in the nurseries for the rose and various to obtain the various types of the different colors. For example, one plant is there, one branch that produces yellow type of the rose, another that produces orange type or red type or white type, like that. So this technique is most important, or it is common in the nursery techniques. Now the second is the grafting. Now grafting technique here, two plants, what I told before, grafting this technique, it is two parts of the two plants are utilized. The first one where the plant which consists of bud, again the same thing here, the bud, it must be more than one number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to get the success. So these buds, the part which is taken and which is utilized as a scion. This part is the scion. So this part is taken and it is inserted into another plant. Which part is rooted? That means that plant is rooted with the roots are there. So this scion is inserted in that plant. For example, the special cut is taken. For example, like the T-shape cut is there, and this bark is removed. This bark is just removed, not separated. So just it is removed, and this part scion, it is inserted in this part of the second part of the plant. This is called as a stalk. This is called as the stalk. So stalk and scion, they unite, and the cells get matched with one another. Now this is another plant, this is another plant, but the new plant is developed which is resemble to that of the scion, because the bud is there of the scion, not of the rooted plants. That part or the stalk is only for to absorb water and minerals from the soil, and it is a local, that means for the local purpose the stalk it is utilized. In Marathi we call it as a gauti in the local area, because it is acclimatized or it is adapted in that area, so that this part is utilized only for the adaptation, and the new plant which is present or which we are getting here, it is of the scion properties. That means all the properties of this plant is not of the stalk but the scion. So this portion is inserted, and then it is tied with the thread or some polythene papers, and just we have to wait for the 21 days like that, 3 weeks like that, and then afterwards this portion, of course the bud portion, that is kept open, not totally it is covered, but it kept open, and then afterward it sprouts and give rise to the new plant. So this is the technique where the grafting. So grafting is a technique that where the two plants are utilized. One is scion, second is the stalk. This union of these two parts, not cells, remember, the union of two parts, but it is not the union of two cells or the gametes, and hence the new plant is developed which is of the exact copy of the scion. And the last one, that is the tissue culture technique. Now tissue culture technique here, as the name indicates, the property of a cell. If you know the property of any type of the cell in the plant, it is to regenerate into new plant, that is called as the totipotency. Means what? The single cell or the small part of the plant is able to give rise new plant. It regenerate. This is the natural property of the plant. It is the totipotency, and this property is utilized for to obtain the tissue culture technique. Here it is also called as the micro propagation. It is also called as the micro propagation. Micro means what? Single cell, and that single cell can be utilized for to regenerate into new plant, and it is the exact copy of the mother plant. Of course, what we have just discussing, that is asexual reproduction, it is what I said, that it is involvement of only one plant, no two plants. So it is a mother plant, and what the regeneration is there or whatever the products are there, they are the exact copy of the mother plant. Exact means 100%. There is no variation. If you see animals, they are not exactly similar. In a human being, even though real sisters, real brothers, they are not exactly similar. Some difference is there. It may be morphological, it may be their mind or any other things, but there is a difference because it is the variation. But if you see here in the asexual reproduction, they are the exact copy, and so it is called as a clone. It is called as the clone. So asexual reproduction, that having the characteristic, that is the clone. And cloning, this word is not new for you, it is a common. What is the clone? Clone is the exact copy of the mother plant or mother individual. In animal also, you must remember that is the dolly, that is a clone. The same thing, that means from a single parent, new generation that is obtained, but that is the exact copy of the mother. And hence, in all these cases, what we have studied today, that is having the vegetative reproduction, it consists of cloning. Clone type of the plants are obtained, and hence such a type of the method of reproduction is in the lower plants and the higher plants. So this we have all covered, that is the asexual reproduction. So many times last year also in the exam, that is a board exam, budding and grafting it was asked, cutting, budding, but the students were confused about that. But this chapter is also important. You must know about the knowledge, even though it is simple one, but you must remember the things, what are the cutting, what is the grafting technique. Okay, so this is all about the reproduction we have discussed about the lower and higher plants related with the asexual reproduction. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the sexual reproduction in the higher plants. Okay, thank you very much.